Welcome back to the OBR YouTube channel. In this week's video, I am once again joined by my good colleague and fellow analyst, Licknack, also known as Austin. And in this video, we're going to talk about a recent hurdle, maybe we'll call it, that Austin and I were just discussing previously. And this hurdle is overthinking in trading. And Austin is a really good person to bring in on this subject, as him and I just got over this hurdle recently. So Austin, I'd love to hear your opinion.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Logan. I always like making content with you, and doing these talks is definitely not only beneficial to us, but to all the people out there watching. And I think this is definitely a topic that a lot of people struggle with, not only in the world of trading, but also in their general activities in life. Right? Overanalyzing, overthinking. It can definitely lead you down a strange path, I guess you could say. And it's a very tough one because in the process of overthinking or overanalyzing trades, right, you're putting in more effort to succeed, right? You really want to win. You're like thinking of every possible scenario, but in the end, putting in all that effort can often amount to, a negative result, or it can kind of turn into a negative side effect, which is never a good thing, right? Anytime that you put in more effort, you want more out of it. But in this case, when this happens, you put in more effort to get less out of it. So it's a very frustrating thing to kind of experience in life, in relationships, with your goals, with whatever, and especially in the markets as we participate in, daily. So yeah, overthinking, overanalyzing, however you want to put it, can be detrimental to a trader, as we've seen and kind of overcome. So yeah,
Yeah, absolutely. And it's something that you actually said to me while we were first discovering this issue that rang true in my mind, and it's the fact that if you overthink anything in life, you realize that there are diminishing returns to some extent, always, in almost every single facet.
I like that.
If you're overthinking in a relationship, you're going to cause issues in the relationship. If you're overthinking in your trading, you're going to cause issues in your trading. It seems like a very simple cause and effect relationship between overthinking and whatever it really may be.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
Let's start over and take them down more of a real-world example. In what situation were you and I first discovering this issue to be more prevalent?
Well, I guess it would come and we would see, we would recognize and identify opportunities in the market, but being the good little traders that we are, we'll try to acknowledge every possible scenario of said opportunity or trade, right? And obviously, with any trade you take, there's always going to be some confluence that kind of goes against your idea. You're rarely going to have a trading setup where everything, the stars completely align, and it's like, okay, we're going in. And then we would recognize that little flaw in the trade ideology. We're like, oh, this thing could be holding us back. But in reality, right, that's just part of it all, right? There's going to be things that disagree with you. You're not always going to have a perfect trading setup, and sometimes you just kind of have to smooth brain it out and kind of just do what you think is right and go with the original concept, the original ideology, kind of go with your gut feeling, especially if you have experience in markets, right? That's what's really going to lead you down the right path. Overanalyzing could save you, right? If you're overanalyzing, right, you're going to recognize a lot of things that maybe someone who's quickly entering won't see, but in most cases, it's going to be more net negative for you to overanalyze these things to an extreme,
Yes.
And that's very much kind of what happened to us. We were just finding confluences that almost weren't relevant in the trade, right? To keep us out of it, or to sell or to buy, or what have you. Yep.
Absolutely. And I love what you said, where if you overanalyze something or you're looking too deep into something, there's always going to be something against your trade. And you're right. In every single situation, you could always, if you overanalyze, right, find something that goes against your ideology. And in our case, what that was doing for the time, very short period of time, although, it was taking out some of the trades in our sample size that we were taking, and we ended up taking more losers for that time period than winners, because of the fact that we were being too over selective with our trading. At the time, you and I were both looking for a minimum of 3 to 4 confluences, which we since lowered because we realized that you're not even taking all the trades you're supposed to take if you're waiting for that many confluences.
Right.
And even if you were waiting for that many confluences, it wasn't necessarily improving your win rate at all, which is what we realized. So we dropped down how much confluences we needed, tried to simplify our approach a little bit, and since then, I feel like the results have gotten exponentially better.
Yeah, exponentially. Yep. I like also what you said, right? It's a major that major side effect was that like your trading volume decreased and you weren't taking as many trades. And that's just like kind of the that right. Obviously, that's a negative side effect in the trading world. But if you overanalyze anything, right, we're gonna bring it back just to life in general. If you overanalyze anything in life, you're gonna kind of manifest these negative side effects, right? That kind of come along with this process of overthinking. And this very much kind of boils down to a psychological kind of way of looking at stuff, right? I'm not a psychology major, right? I kind of understand how people think a little bit, but it's definitely all in the head, right? Just like anything else you do, right? Go look at some of the best athletes in the world. Is it hard for them to go run to the end zone? Is it hard for them to hit a home run? No, the physical stuff is very easy, right? It's the mental stuff, right? And it's how they think about the game, and it's how they perform after, doing their analyzing and their thinking, right? And that's what really separates the good players from the great players.
I love that. I love that so much. I don't know if you're familiar with Mike Bellafiore from SMB Capital.
Okay, I'm not, but...
Yeah, it's a larger prop firm based out of New York City.
Okay.
And he says that high-performance trading is almost the same difficulty as getting into the NFL, bringing it back into sports like you were just saying.
Yeah, yep.
So if it is easy for somebody to run into the end zone or to catch a ball physically, but it's that mental aspect that is holding them back, that is going to translate into trading in some regards, right? And overthinking, in this example, is just one of those things that may happen.
Yeah, I mean, we could do there's so many parallels, right? Everything that we do in the market there's parallels to sports, there's parallels to life, the relationships you have with people, the confidence you have in yourself, the confidence you have in your friends and your family, right? All this stuff, there's so many parallels in trading. And I think people often underestimate how psychological trading is, right? I know we always say it's emotional, right? Manage your risk, do these things, have your stop loss. But really being confident in yourself and knowing what you want out of a trade is very, very huge. And that can often be, the difference between winning and losing.
Absolutely. And also keeping a clear enough mind, trying to view the market objectively to the point where you're not being too greedy in a position, you're not holding a trade too long, and you're objectively viewing the market and based on your rules, entering and exiting and doing what you're supposed to do.
Yeah, and I kind of want to wrap this around, and we always joke about it, but like, the apes on Wall Street, it's like, why are they seemingly so successful? I'm not saying they are successful, right? Many of these people are, that just ape into whatever and do willy-nilly are going to lose money, but it shows that, they have a direction and that's it, right? And oftentimes, that is not a bad strategy, right? Even though they're not actually consciously recognizing that as a strategy, right? They're probably new to the market. They're like, screw it, I'm going long, right? Maybe that's not the best way to think about it, but in general, the concept that they're doing, the psychological point that they have reached in their mind is almost beneficial to them, right? In a weird way. And we talk about this often, right? Having that, right? There's a difference between a rigid brain and a smooth brain, right? The less you think about stuff, the smoother your brain is. And sometimes that can help you.
And when Austin says that, he really just means not complicating things too much. If you're complicating things, you have a rigid brain.
Right.
And if you're not overcomplicating things, you have a smoother brain. Like the market's going in this direction, you say, okay, but we're nearing resistance, we're nearing a Fibonacci level, but it doesn't matter because you see all of this bullish momentum. The market is moving regardless of what you think it's going to do.
The trend is your friend. Absolutely.
So then if you don't simplify it, you say, okay, the market's moving. This is the time to get into this trade.
Yep. And is there a extreme to this, right? Should you simplify stuff to the point where you're just not doing analysis? No. There's a happy medium for everything. And you should be able to, kind of find your cozy spot and find the area in which you have the most success, right? You shouldn't oversimplify things because that can lead to bad consequences too and negative side effects. So
yes, I'm very glad you brought that up because that is very important to notice. Like, there's definitely a very fine medium that you have to reach that you cannot oversimplify and you cannot overcomplicate.
Yeah, everything in life, right? Like, you can go out and enjoy a beer, right? That's fine, but is it going to be good to go drink 1 million beers? No. Right. Is it going to be good to go drink no beers? Well, I mean, yeah, it's going to be good, but you're going to be missing out on that opportunity cost of socializing with your friends and family and kind of enjoying yourself, right? So you want to find that happy medium. in really every aspect of life, right? And that's where you're going to find, that's that Goldilocks zone, right? That's the good stuff. So if you can do that, especially in trading, you'll do quite well.
I love that. And on that note, is there any closing notes that you'd like to add about overcomplication in trading or oversimplifying in trading?
No, not really. I mean, I think we went over everything, kind of from like just an opinion, like how we viewed it and kind of our personal experience from it.
And what's helped us?
Yeah. If anybody, anybody watching this, whether you're, on YouTube, you don't know anything about OBR, you just came across this video, I definitely encourage you to join up to our Discord at OBR, where if you're struggling with something like this, if you're going through some sort of like little slump, some sort of trading slump, if you have questions about, what am I doing wrong here? What am I doing? Like, we went through this, right? This is firsthand experience stuff that me and Logan are talking about. We've been trading for a very long time. So, we definitely encourage you to come reach out to us. We're very... Hey guys, we got a little bit messed up with the recording there, but rest be assured, me and Logan Silver are going to be over at OBR. So if you want more information regarding the topics that we talked about today, be sure to check us out on Discord, on our socials, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, where we are here, everywhere. So yeah, see you there. Peace.